Yes, ma'am. All the best.
Our student hosts taking over, Komal and Ivan.
Over to you, Komal and Ivan.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, students, for participating today. Let us start the elocution. First up is Sanj Daswandi from Billabong High International School. Second is Rafael Joseph, Billabong High International School, Santa Cruz. And third is Samriddhi Tandon from CS World School. I would like to invite Sanj Daswandi first.
Good morning, everyone. I am Sant Daswandi from Billabong High International School, Vadodara. I am in grade 9 and I would be speaking about the speech of Narayan Murthy. I got inspired by few of his lines from his speech, and they are as follows. He said in his speech that what is a value system? It is a protocol for behavior that enhances the trust, confidence, and commitment of members of the community. It goes beyond the domain of legality. It is about decent and desirable behavior. Further, it includes putting the community interests ahead of your own. Thus, our collective survival and progress is predicated on sound values. He even said, there are two pillars of the cultural value system, loyalty to family and loyalty to community. One should not be in isolation to the other, because successful societies are those which combine both harmoniously. We believe that Matru Deva Bhava, mother is God, and Pitru Deva Bhava, father is God. Further, brothers and sisters sacrifice for each other. In fact, the eldest brother or sister is respected by all other siblings. If we have to progress, we have to change this attitude. Listen to people who have performed better than us, learn from them, and perform better than them. For instance, parents make enormous sacrifices for their children. They support them until they can stand on their own feet. On the other side, children consider it their duty to take care of aged parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanj. That was lovely.
Meera Miss,
and
we would
beautiful.
want to have the videos of the participants on. I hope their videos
Yes,
are on.
we'll do that. Yes.
Yes, the participants, please keep
Pooja
your
ma'am,
videos
could
on.
we have the spotlight thing on the participants? Pooja ma'am. Miss.
Yes, ma'am, I'll do that.
So Sanj wonderfully set the ball rolling. We have the next participant now.
Thank you,
Komal.
Sanj.
Komal,
Next
could you...
participant is Rafael Joseph.
Good morning, respected judges. My name is Rafael Joseph, studying in grade 9 from Billabong High International School, Santa Cruz. Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it. These words were made famous by Lokmanya Tilak, a philosopher, politician, and pioneer of Swaraj and Swadeshi in our country. The following is one of the most popular speeches by Tilak on the first anniversary of the formation of the Home Rule League in 1917 at Nasik. I am young in spirit. Even if my body has grown old, the young spirit inside me is still alive. The body can wilt, it can decrepit, or even perish, but the soul residing in the body is forever young. Similarly, if our home rule activities slow down, the freedom of our inner spirit cannot sustain, and no longer will it be indestructible. Then we ourselves will start believing that we are slaves. Freedom is my birthright. I will not be old as long as it is alive within me. This feeling of freedom No weapon can cut this. No fire can burn it. No water can drown it, and no wind can blow it. We are asking for home rule, and we will get it. The science of politics teaches us that we cannot achieve through slavery what we can through home rule. I want to invoke your soul that yearns for freedom, which will only happen through political progress. I want to destroy this superstition of slavery that has blinded your spirit. This superstition is the reason why you are being let down by ignorant, conniving, and selfish people. There are two sides to the science of politics. While one is celestial, another is demonic. The slavery of any nation is the demonic side. There cannot be moral justification for this. A nation which might justify this is sinful in the sight of God. Some bravely oppose this demonic side of oppression, while some who cannot never be able to declare what is harmful to them. According to some people, we do not have the right to home rule. The British are ruling over us for the past century, and they say we are not fit for home rule. We all must save the soul of our nation from this custody of foreign rule. We have to toil for it, but it is our birthright to protect our nation. It is not that difficult to attain Swaraj. Thus, illiteracy can never be the obstacle in the way. Our uneducated brethren are equally important for this country's home rule. They have equal rights. The circumstances change in no time. Today, only one voice echoes. Now or never. Therefore, we must take advantage of this opportunity given to us by God and should put our maximum efforts in the struggle for home rule. Turn not back and confidently leave the ultimate issue to the benevolence of the Almighty. As we celebrate Lokmanya Tilak's 100th death anniversary this year, the revival of economic nationalism for goods made in our country and the slogan Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat keeps this legacy live in Atma Nirbhar Bharat. Thank you.
Oh, so brilliant, Rafael. That was wonderful. You actually brought to life our great leader, Lokmanya Tilak. Excellent. Emotions are running high, and we move on to the next participant, Komal.
Samriddhi Tandon from Signal World School.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I am Samriddhi Tandon from Cygnus World School. Today, on this occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, I would like to present upon you all the famous speech, My Vision for India, by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, a former president, a famous politician, and a well-known aeronautics scientist. Mr. Kalam's speech became very popular because of the motive he chose. He wanted to modify the thoughts of the nation and the thoughts of the old orthodox. This speech made me realize what is the value of freedom and respect. This made me realize what in 3,000 years of our history, many people from all over the world came and invaded us. And from came and took over what was ours. Yet, we have not done this to any other nation. We have not conquered their minds, captured their culture. because we respect the freedom of others. That is why my first vision is freedom. I believe that India got its first vision of this in 1857 when we started the first war of independence. It is this independence that we must protect and nurture and build on. If we are not free, no one will respect us. My second vision for the India's development. For 50 years, we have been called a developing nation. It is time we see ourselves as a developed nation. We are among the top 5 nations in the terms of GDP. We have 10% of growth rates in most of the rural areas. Our poverty levels are falling. Our achievements are considered in the world today. Yet, we lack the self-confidence to be. Isn't this incorrect? I have a third vision. India must stand up to the world. Only strength respects the strength. We must be strong as an military power, but also as an economic power. Both must go hand in hand. My great fortune helped me work with the three great minds. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai of the Department of Space, Dr. Satish, the father of the nuclear material. I was closely and considered this as the greatest opportunity of my life.
Thank you, Samriddhi. Next, we have Dhruv Bhajkawal.
Good morning to one and all. Today, I, Dhruv Bajgaure, is going to speak few words about speeches by inspirational personalities that have influenced us greatly. Some of the inspirational personalities are Mahatma Gandhi, APJ Abdul Kalam, and many more. And today, I am going to speak few words about a speech that was given by Mahatma Gandhi on the Dandi March. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi were born on 2nd October 1869 in Porbandar Kotiawar Agency, Bombay Presidency, British India. He was an Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist, and political atheist who employed non-violence resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule and turned inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. Now, I am going to speak about how the Dandi March speech influenced us. On 11th March 1930, about 10,000 people gathered around and the evening prayer held on the Sabarmati sands at Ahmedabad. Gandhiji gave the famous speech on the eve of the Dandi March. On the eve, Gandhiji gave a speech that God bless you all and keep off all the obstacles from the path that we are going to take the struggle tomorrow. This was a small line told by Gandhiji and was influenced us greatly. This speech was given by Gandhiji when the Indian people were fighting against the salt taxation. During that time, our country's people needed to give high taxes for the salt, but Gandhiji was against that. In the speech, he also mentioned that it may be it's his last words he will be speaking. By this speech, he meant that we should keep our all other problems aside in the struggle that we are going to take tomorrow. After the speech, many people joined him in the Dandi March and and participated. Dandi March was active was the active. We started this march with 79 trusted volunteers walking 10 miles per day for 24 days. The march was 40 miles, 8 kilometers long, while Gandhiji joined the march point he broke the law uh, this many things. His speech influenced a lot. People joined him during the march and started fighting against the taxation. Of movement were not taken by our brave fighters, we would be still ruled by British. There are many more speeches given by many other famous people and freedom fighters, and some of the movement against British taken by them. Some of them are Champaran movement 1970, Kheda movement 1918, Khilafat movement 1919, non-cooperation movement 1920, salt taxation movement known as Dandi March, about which I spoke today, and the Quit India movement 1942. Gandhiji was also known as Mahatma Gandhi, Bapuji, Gandhiji, M.K. Gandhi, and the father of India. He died on 30 Jan 1948 at the age of 78 in New Delhi, India. The cause of his death was a gunshot. With telling all about this, I would like to end my speech over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruv. A kind reminder, please keep your camera switched on, off, and please mute yourself. Next, we have Anjali Ariwar from grade 8, Dido World School, Mulund.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anjali Ahirwaz and I'm from Dr. Yashwantrao Dode World School, and I'm here to present a speech on Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869 at a small town named Porbandar in Gujarat. His parents were Karamchand Gandhi and Putli Bai. He belonged to a humble family of merchants. He was an honest man and a truth lover. In 1874, Gandhi's father Karamchand left Porbandar for the smaller state of Rajkot, where he became a councillor. In 1876, Karamchand became Diwan of Rajkot and was succeeded as Diwan of Porbandar by his brother Tulsidas. At age 9, Gandhi entered the local school in Rajkot, where he studied the rudiments of arithmetic, history, geography, and Gujarati language. At age 11, he joined a high school in Rajkot. He was an average student, won prizes, but was a shy student with no interest in games. His only companion were books and school lessons. In May 1883, the 13-year-old Mohandas was married to 14-year-old Kasturbai Makhanji Kapadia, was uh, was shortened to Kasturba. In 1885, Gandhi's father Karamchand died. In November 1887, Gandhi graduated from high school in Ahmedabad. In 1888, he completed his law in UK and then shifted to South Africa. After 21 years, he started with a peaceful civil disobedience, a satyagraha. After coming back to India, he fought for the freedom of India from the British rule. It is because of him and other national freedom fighters India got freedom from 200 years of slavery. Gandhiji, being such a great leader, preferred to wear khadi clothes. He never accepted the British culture and always followed the old traditional culture of India. He always encouraged the people of India to have faith in themselves and fight for their rights. Gandhiji spent a major part of his life to get freedom for our country. During this struggle, Gandhiji had to go jail several times. He had led to many important movements such as Quit India movement, Dandi March or Salt Satyagraha in 1930, and walked for 400 kilometers. He had worked with great efforts for developing the economic condition of farmers, empowering women's rights, and many more. Many leaders and freedom fighters have also contributed their part in getting India's independence, uh, such as Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, and many more. Gandhiji is one of the most influential and iconic leaders in the history of India and mankind. A speech is not enough to speak about Mahatma Gandhi's values and deeds, but we as the future of the country can honor him by living our life with his principles of truth, peace, and nonviolence and lead our country to an incredible nation. Now I would like to say few lines for Gandhiji. His heart was full of love towards all human beings. Himself he was truth incarnate and gentle like a dove. He traveled east and west, but what was his quest? It was for the country's sake, it was for the country's best. He freed our he freed country from the in a normal way and gave his life for the sake, facing the bullet of
Zero School, Navi Mumbai.
Just a minute.
Torsa.
Yes, ma'am. Just I'm facing some issue. Just a minute. Is this okay? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. To be bestowed with the opportunity to have a voice that can express its opinion is a privilege today. So I'm grateful for having given this opportunity on this auspicious day that celebrates the birth anniversary of a man who spent his lifetime to let people have their voice of their own. A very good morning to everyone present. I am Torsha Ghosh, a student of Euroschool Airoli, and I'll be talking about Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore, who can be called as contemporaries who were friends as well as intellectual rivals, and just how interesting and inspiring their speeches were. To me, their talks are extremely relevant at a personal and a public level today. One of these declarations that I'm talking about was part of Gandhi's famous do or die speech with regards to the Quit India movement. And he said, I quote, when the earth is scorched by the flames of Hinsa and crying out for deliverance, ours is not a drive for power, but purely a non-violent fight for India's independence. It is this statement of his that evoked in me the understanding of choice. We always have a choice. While those flames of Hinsa that he talks about could have engulfed us and become as much part of us as our bones and flesh, it was a choice made by him and other freedom fighters to follow that path of non-violence, even though it might not have been a popular one. It was a choice to find a fire extinguisher to fight the flames, then to fight fire with fire, which would have eventually burnt us all. As the popular saying goes, an eye for an eye would have indeed made the world blind. In Tagore's testament, Crisis in Civilization, he talks about social evil, inequality in all forms, and says, the social habit of mind, which impels us to make the lives of our fellow beings a burden to them, where they differ from us in even such a thing as choice of food, is sure to result in creating engines of coercion to crush every rational difference. That is the very sign of life. That highlights the disturbing truth of today as well, where ignorance isn't a bliss, it's a rise in crimes every single day, where our voices can be denied to us, where unity in diversity is just a saying that is hardly seen in reality. To me, that prominently approaches the idea that diversity isn't merely to claim but to accept, and that acceptance can only be called so when it offers freedom to the person of someone who is different and yet be treated equally. When in the deadliest of hours, all seemed wrong, damaged, destroyed, the poet ended his testament by saying, it is a grievous sin to have faith to lose faith in man. And he is hoping that India will refrain and we go back to the path of human heritage. Their speeches debunk the irrational and illegitimate thought that offers possession instead of freedom in the name of affection. Their friendship emphasized on the fact that we shouldn't have to attack someone's point of view to express ours, that you can admire someone and yet disagree with them. While they might have been two different poles with different ideologies, what brought them together was holding on to that last string of a rope by above the roaring waters. To choose to have a little faith when surrounded by calamity and not ignoring the distress by finding hope to fit in within the frame. Today, in our world, where we all might be facing dilemma, where rage, grief, and chaos is common to all, their testament to their beliefs, their ideologies, and that uniting spark of hope makes me want to strive harder to work for what I stand for, and yet wish my opponent well. It inspires me to find a maybe minuscule yet existing piece of hope that is within our frame of a pandemonium and have a little faith. Thank you.
थोड़ा सा
Thank you,
चीज
Joseph.
और होना चाहिए था, बहुत तीखा हो गया है, टू स्पाइसी.
Next up, we have Madhumitra Unnukrishnan. Participants, please mute yourself.
Okay. Next up.
जब तक ये खत्म नहीं होगा, I cannot leave.
Can I start?
Just a minute. I want everybody but Madhumita to mute themselves. Thank you. You may start.
Freedom from fear is the freedom I claim for you, my motherland. Freedom from the burden of the ages, bending your head, breaking your back, binding your eyes to the beckoning call of the future. Rabindranath Tagore in his poem, Freedom. The word freedom is repeated throughout the poem to express deep desire for his country to be independent. Good morning, I'm Madhumita Anikrishnan of grade 9. Unlike most of the world, our country gained its independence not through bloodshed as we picture it, but through influencing minds. One man who succeeded in influencing a country with merely non-violent revolution, Gandhi, whom we celebrate today, and another was Rabindranath Tagore, whose last testimony, The Crisis of Civilization, I now quote parts of to you. Today, I complete 80 years of my life. As I look back upon the vast stretch of years that lie behind me, I am struck by the change that has taken place in both my own attitude and psychology of my countrymen. At a time, though only tentative attempts were being made to gain our national independence, at heart we had not lost faith in the generosity of the English race. For England at the time provided a shelter to all those who had to flee from persecution in their own countries. I was impressed by this evidence of liberal humanity in the character of the English, and thus was led to place them upon the pedestal of my highest respect. As a young boy in England, I had the opportunity of listening to the speeches of John Bright. And the large-hearted, radical liberalism of those speeches, overthrowing all narrow
Thank you, Madhumita. Our next contestant is Rishita Satwani, grade 11 from Global Indian International School.
I am really sorry to intervene. I am really sorry to intervene. I guess Madhumita was muted during her speech.
Yes.
I request all to please give her another chance.
Apologies, Madhumita.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
really sorry.
Yes, midway she got muted. Sorry about
Yes,
that.
yes, midway she was muted. I request you to please give her a chance to begin from the beginning.
Yeah,
Thank you for
I
clarifying
request
our
all the
message, Sabrina.
participants. It's a request to all the participants. Please keep themselves on mute because in between we need to mute them. Then it will be impossible for us to proceed the.
May I pitch in? It's not the participants who are talking in between. We have certain people from the audience, who are speaking or who have kept their mics unmuted.
Yeah, it's a request to all the
So
participants.
not the participants, but the audience.
Thank you, Hetal ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
I request all the participants, the ones who are not speaking, please keep your mics on mute. That would be a great help. Thank you.
Okay, we have Madhumita again. Please go ahead, Madhumita.
Freedom from fear is the freedom I claim for you, my motherland. Freedom from the burden of the ages, bending your head, breaking your back, blinding your eyes to the beckoning call of the future, wrote Rabindranath Tagore in his poem, Freedom. The word freedom has been repeated throughout the poem to express the poet's deep desire for his country to be independent. Good morning. I am Madhumita Anikrishnan of grade 9. Unlike most of the world, India gained its independence not through bloodshed as we picture it, but by influencing minds. One man who succeeded in influencing a country merely through non-violent communication was Gandhi, who we celebrate today. Another was Rabindranath Tagore, whose last testimony, The Crisis of Civilization, I now quote parts of to you. Today, I complete 80 years of my life. As I look back upon the vast stretch of years that lie behind me, I am struck by the change that has taken place in both my own attitude and in the psychology of my countrymen. At a time, though only tentative attempts were being made to gain our national independence, at heart, we had not yet lost faith in the generosity of the English race. For England at the time provided a shelter to all those who had to flee from persecution in their own countries. I was impressed by this evidence of liberal humanity in the character of the English, and thus was led to place them upon the pedestal of my highest respect. As a young boy in England, I had the opportunity of listening to the speeches of John Bright, and the large-hearted, radical liberalism of those speeches, overflowing all national bounds, left so deep an impression on my mind that something of it lingers even today, even in these days of graceless disillusionment. What was remarkable was the wholehearted way in which we gave our recognition to human greatness, even when it revealed itself in the foreigner. The best and the noblest gifts of humanity cannot be regarded as the miser's hoard buried underground. During my days of boyhood, the attitude towards the cultured and educated sections of Bengal was charged with an attitude of revolt against the rigid regulations of society. Then, in place of these set codes of conduct, we accepted the ideal of civilization as represented by the English term. I naturally set the English on the throne of my heart. But then, I began increasingly to discover how easily those who accepted the highest truths of civilization disowned them with impunity when questions of national self-interest were involved. I could never have remotely imagined that the great ideals of humanity would end in such ruthless travesty. That mastery over the machine, by which the British had consolidated their sovereignty over their vast empire, has been kept a sealed book. When I see elsewhere some 200 nationalities marching ahead in peaceful progress and amity, and when I look about my own country and see a very highly evolved people drifting into barbarism, I cannot help contrasting the two forms of government, one based on cooperation and the other on exploitation. Imperial greed could bring about so ugly a transformation in the character of so great a race. Thus, as these other countries just marched forward, India, smothered by the dead weight of the British administration, lay static in her utter helplessness. I would like to conclude my presentation by saying that Tagore was a man of words, and he used those words to fuel and inspire our freedom movement, as he did with this speech at Shantiniketan. So along with Gandhiji and Shastriji, we must remember the other people who contributed. I hope that we all have our undying respect and love for all of these men and women. Thank you.
That was profound, Madhumita. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Move on to the next.
Next, we have Rishita Satwani.
I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples, and indeed she created many. With these inspiring words, good morning to one and all present here. On this day, when we celebrate the birth of Mahatma Gandhi and Lal Bahadur Shastri, I, Rishita Satwani from Global Indian International School, Ahmedabad, would like to talk about a woman who's a powerful reflection of both Gandhiji and Shastriji. Yes, you guessed it right. It's none other than the angel of mankind herself, Mother Teresa. Born on 26 August 1910 in an Albanian family, Mother Teresa was previously known as Agnes, who was just 18 years old when she came to India. Mother Teresa was a symbol of great human qualities such as kindness, love, care, and service to the poor and downtrodden. Throughout her life, she was engaged in tending the sick, the diseased, and the orphans, and bringing smiles on their faces. Apart from doing all this, she was also a perfect and a powerful reflection of both Gandhiji and Shastriji. How, you may ask? Well, just like both of them fought for the rights of origins, she too traveled on the same path and fought for orphans, differently abled people, and above all, she had put up a strong fight against the rude behavior and prejudices of society towards the sufferers of leprosy. She provided homes to homeless and dying, food to hungry, and medical aid to sick. She loved teaching children, and for the welfare of poor children, she established a shelter home known as Nirmala Shishu Bhavan, which now works as an NGO and serves not only the people of our nation, but also the people in the overseas nations. At an early age, she devoted her life to humanity and served mankind till her last breath. Other than serving humanity, she also portrayed Mahatma Gandhi's two cardinal principles that are truth and non-violence. Mother Teresa once quoted, "We have the obligation to speak the truth, but not to convince anybody." But with this, she showed that when you are truthful, nothing can stand strong against you. While being a follower of truth, she also believed that non-violence is the key to achieve anything. And this is very well depicted by one of her life incidents, where she asked for bread from a baker for her orphans, and the baker spat on her face. She wiped the spit and said, "That was for me. Now what about my orphans?" The baker was filled with shame and with her response and gave her the bread. With this, she proved that when you are strong and all you require is have courage and be kind and everything will be fine. Mother Teresa devoted her life towards humanity, and with this, she became the first ever Indian woman to receive a Nobel Prize for Peace and showed the world that a woman has the power to not only change the society, but the whole world by making it a better place for the entire human race. Mother Teresa was not only a fighter, she was a mother, she was a sister, she was a band-aid on everyone's blisters. She taught us that with a smile for a smile and a heart for a heart, evolution of a new mankind shall start. Lastly, I can definitely say that Mother Teresa had a clear aim that with her courage and kindness, she'll definitely make India stand in a hall of fame. Thank you and have a marvelous day ahead.
Thank you, Rishita. That was wonderful. Next, we have Prachi Shah from New Era Senior Secondary School, Vadodara.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Don't read success stories. You will only get a message. Read failure stories. You will get some ideas to get success. Greetings to the respected jury members, mentors, and my compatriots. I am Prachisha, a new errate and an amateur dreamer who believes in working like Dr. Kalam on making my dreams a reality. Well, I'm elated to share the fact that we both share the gift of values imbibed by our humble parents. As a child, Mr. Kalam was always far-sighted. No wonder the words of his father still ring a bell in my ear when I dream big about my future. His father said, Abdul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a nest? Well, had his father not given wings to his ambition, then he wouldn't prove the quote of Gandhi right that stated, Indians will build their own India. Didn't Mr. Kalam build our India? Today I am going to tell you the inspiration I sought from his speech. Be unique, be remembered. I once went into a deep thinking to find out what lied in the depth of my mind, and I surprisingly found out that I had a strong ambition to be unique, to be myself, to be something different from others. But I also realized that the world all around me was doing its best day and night just to make me like everybody else. Being like everybody else seemed to be convenient at the first glance, but it was definitely not satisfying in the long vision because it does not let us develop our own personality. Mr. Kalam has quoted in his speech that to develop our distinctiveness, we will have to fight the hardest battle that any human being can ever imagine to fight, and continue fighting till we reach at our destined place, that is, the unique me. To further add, he said, to get the unique you will have to fight a battle. There are four things you need to have to win that battle. The first is to set the goal. The second is to acquire the knowledge continuously. Third is to work hard with devotion. And fourth is perseverance. Do you believe in success mantras and want some? Well, I do believe in them, and I also got some mantras from his speech, which were none other than the four simple yet impressive principles told above, which can lead any person to the greatest heights of success. I learned from his speech that being unique will require excellence. Excellence, in Mr. Abdul Kalam's words, is a self-imposed, self-directory, lifelong process. Excellence is not by accident. It is a process where an individual, organization, or nation strive continuously for the betterment of oneself. The performance standards are created by them. They work on their goals with focus and are prepared to take calculated results. And they do not get deterred by failures as they move towards their dreams. These golden lines have immensely inspired me to learn from their failures, and they have also helped me to understand my potentials. It uplifted me and taught me to compare my performance not with others but with myself. And this is what Abdul Kalam says to be the culture of excellence in his speech. Lastly, I would like to conclude by asking one question that Mr. Kalam had asked. Ask yourself what you would like to be remembered for. Write this answer on a paper, and that paper will be the most important page in the book of the human history. And you will be remembered for creating that page in the history of the nation. Asking this question to myself and following the four simple morals helped me be myself. I would like to thank Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam for inspiring me and being the constant source of upliftment. Youth, let us all rise and show the change. Thank you. Wishing you all a very happy Gandhi Jayanti.
Thank you, Prachi. Our next participant is Dhruv Gohil, New Era, Vadodara.
Hello, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you may continue.
Performance leads to recognition. Recognition leads to respect. And respect leads to power. Simple yet impactful words of the humble leader and my inspiration. Mr. Narayan Murthy. A hearty good morning to respected judges, esteemed guests, and to the budding leaders. I'm Dhruv Gohil of New Era School, and it gives me an immense pleasure to share my belief of this visionary leader. Simplicity and humility is what attracts every one of us to this great personality. He is not only a leader, he is a software genius as well as the mind behind Infosys. His success mantra is very simple. Character plus chance is equals to success. Once he said, one does not need to be a son of a rich man to be an entrepreneur. Today, kids are far more willing to take risk because they have seen the higher rewards. So here I am going to share the ideology of Mr. Narayan Murthy. To start with, courage. Leadership is all about courage to dream big. I have learned that courage is the most important attribute of every great leader. Courage to dream big, courage to take bold decisions, and courage to choose the path less traveled. Now, luck. I have seen a lot of smart people and people who have worked hard, but they are not blessed by luck. So we need to prepare ourselves to take advantage of that luck. Luck you need, but be prepared to seize that luck. Let's move to the ideology which will inspire all of us. Mind, the powerhouse of positive energy. Narayan Murthy said that at the end of the day, most of our energy comes from mental energy. So as long as we are in a state of mind which is full of enthusiasm, hope, and confidence, physical energy will come. Now is belief on competitors. Competitors, know them, respect them, and learn from them. We must respect our competitors and learn whatever we can learn from them. And that is the way how you can beat them. Narayan Murthy also said, the primary objective of every leader is to make ensure that there is a successive generation of leaders. And one of the most important tools for doing that is mentoring. The new management buzzword of mentoring has its roots in our ancient Guru Shishya tradition. And now it is the duty of all the established and startup entrepreneurs of present and future of India to show the world how we develop our economy by adopting modern technology, but at the same time, sustaining our traditional and cultural roots of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruv.
That was a
Next up,
strong one, Dhruv. Sorry, Komal, please go ahead.
if you want to say something, you can, Veera.
I did so. I cut you in between. Go ahead, Komal.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Mehak Mandal, Playway Academy, Lucknow.
Good morning, all of you. I am Mehak Mandal. I am from Playway Academy, and I am going to talk about Subhash Chandra Bose. Born on January 23, 1897, in Cuttack, Odisha, Subhash Chandra Bose was one of India's most popular freedom fighters, who differed with Mahatma Gandhi's method of non-violence and wanted to wage war against our colonial rulers. A radical leader in Congress, he became the president of the party in 1938, but was ousted after differences with Gandhi and the party's high command. However, there is no denying the fact that Subhash Chandra Bose had on the Indian public. and he was an extremely loved leader, known for his motivational speeches. And of all the speeches he made, none was more popular than the "Give me blood and I shall give you freedom" speech that he made in Burma in 1944 to members of the Indian National Army. He said, "Friends, 12 months ago, a new program of total mobilization or maximum sacrifice was placed before India in East Asia. Today, I shall give you an account of our achievements during the past year and shall place before you our demands for the coming year. But before I do so, I want you to realize once again what a golden opportunity you have for winning freedom. The British are engaged in a worldwide struggle, and in the off course of struggle, they have suffered defeat. After defeat on so many fronts, the enemy having been thus considerably weakened, our fight for liberty has become very much easier than it was 5 years ago. Such a rare and God given opportunity comes once in a century for liberating our motherland from the British yoke. I am so very hopeful and optimistic about the outcome of our struggle because I do not rely merely on the efforts on 3 million Indians in East Asia. There is giant movement going on inside India and millions of our countrymen are prepared for maximum suffering and sacrifices in order to achieve liberty. Unfortunately, ever since the Great Fight of 1857, our countrymen are disarmed, whereas the enemy is armed to the teeth without any arms, and without a modern army, it is impossible for a disarmed people to win freedom in this modern age. Through the grace of Providence and through the help of generous Nippon, it has become possible for India and East Asia are united to freedom of India. I demanded of you men money and materials. Regarding men, I am glad to tell you that I have obtained sufficient recruits already. Recruits have come to us from every corner of East Asia, China, Japan, Indochina, Philippines, Java, Borneo, Philippines, Sumatra, Malaya, Thailand. You must continue the mobilization of men, money, and materials with greater vigor and energy. In particular, the problem of supplies and transport has to be solved satisfactorily. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehek. Now we have Bhavya Shah from SMTVM English Medium School, Hallo.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Myself,
Bhavya.
myself Bhavya Shah from Standard 9th B. Today we talk about elocution competition, and my topic is the Mahatma Gandhi some speech we can speak. Um, Mahatma Gandhi was born in 2nd October Porbandar in the Gujarat in the Hindu family. He studied about law from the University London in the barrister. But Mahatma Gandhi is called the father of India, popular across the world for introducing non-violence to achieve the objectives. This is the reason why United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution the to celebrate the University Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi International Day in Non-Violence 2nd October. The International Day of Non-Violence is 2nd October to commemorate the birth University Mahatma Gandhi. One can take up the way United Nations General Assembly decided to keep the Violence Day on the Gandhi's birthday. It is it is indeed for some create for the impact of a nation. Mahatma Gandhi did with India Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who has the honor of a historic Mahatma added to his name, was an Indian lawyer, politician, and co-international nationalist. Mahatma Gandhi came to his 2nd October 1869. The great personality it has the Mahatma Gandhi spent to the significant part of his life. Mahatma Gandhi was the man who gave to the whole life to his nation. No doubt of people's person to office the nations. Mahatma Gandhi, who has one of the great men to, to all over India respect, not only in India but all over the world. And I said Gandhiji is the one of the most important person in the world. He gave to me some respect, not only in India but all over the world. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Bhavya. Our next contestant is Teeth Solanki from VM English Medium School, Halma. Teeth. Uh, Teeth is currently not here in the meeting.
Yes, we could move on to the next.
Hardi Sakrawat from VM English Medium School.
So if the participants are not there, Meera Miss, request the judges to strike out their names, please.
Yes, miss. Sure. So Teerth Solanki wasn't with us.
Yes.
We'll move on to the next, Hardi Sakrawat. Is Hardi here? I think Komal, we move on to the next. Yes.
Yes.
Next
up is Chadwa Kavya Singh.
Chavda Kavya Singh. Do we have Chavda Kavya Singh with us? VM English Medium School?
No.
Okay, going on to the next. Komal, please.
Nandini Sharma, Vapi Public School.
Okay, we have a right here. Great.
Am I audible?
Yes, Nandini, please go ahead.
Great morning to all participants, organizers, and respected judges. The future depends on what we do in the present. With this famous thought of Gandhiji, I would like to speak on a very unique topic, speeches by inspirational personalities that have influenced us greatly. I, Nandini Sharma of 9th Standard from Bapi Public School, feeling honored to be here with you all today. Let's start with the exposition of a theme, action. The goal of the speech motivates and encourages a person usually in regard with personally and professional growth. It is a transformation of thoughts between inspirational speech that means to me is ambition, accomplish, believe, challenge, commitment, and confidence. So the speech inspires me the most is made in India, 25th September With his speech, he depositioned Make in India agenda, as in Make in India for the world. This signifies India's aspiration to be a powerful trading nation on the back of qualitative products, competitive manufacturing, and integration into the world economy. A robust trading nation is in a better position to set agenda and influence narratives. What I understand from this part is how trade is. Thus, the speech teaches me accomplishment. Mr. Modi also discussed the policy in his speech. The policy approach was to create a conducive environment for investments, develop a modern, efficient infrastructure, and even open new sectors for foreign capital. Thus, I learned to be ambitious to transform India into a global design manufacturing hub. Even after his speech, the Make in India Week was attended by more than 2,500 international, 8,000 domestic delegations from 68 countries. This figure created a belief in the mind that dreams come true. And yes, once again, the speech teaches me commitment. I always correlate history behind things. Let us understand the historical value. We all know Father of Nation was a simple man staying in ashram, using charkha, wearing khadi clothes. Isn't it a glimpse of Make in India many years back too? The world is following trade-free principles. Thus, delicate balance is destroyed when some countries take liberty. For example, China uses a combination of massive subsidies to become dominant producer. So I influence most to be local, be vocal. At the end, I would like to throw light on the few lines from his speech. He said, I lay great stress on zero defect, zero effect manufacturing. Don't wait, don't relax. There are immense opportunities in India. I feel this is applicable in students' life too. He mentioned youth and said, मित्रों, क्या हो गया है हमारे देश को? They are the greatest strength. As our leaders like Vivekanand reflects the same. Last but not the least, I also get to know about the 3 Ds: democracy, demography, demand. Mr. Modi added deregulation and dimensional India. It instills a sense of patriotism within me. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Thank you.
Thank you. I have an announcement. Please do not leave after your speeches are over. Please wait for the end of the ceremony, for the end of the event. Thank you. Please continue for the next participant.
Our next participant is Arnav Sen Sharma from Orchard International School, Mumbai.
Yes, ma'am. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Good afternoon to respected dignitaries present here. I am Arnav Sen Sharma from Orchids International School, Kurla. I am here to present the famous speech, I Have a Dream, by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. rose to the top of the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and delivered his legendary I Have a Dream speech before 2,500,000 civil rights supporters. It went on to reverberate through the nation and forever change the course of culture. These 16 minutes of human speech had the power to move millions and steer history. 5 score years ago, a great American shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This monumentous decree came as a great beacon of light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro slaves on live on lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in an exile in his own land. And so we have come here together today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we have come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches, freedom, and security of justice. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. And again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us into a distrust for all white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today. We have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny, and they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to be our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnab. Next up, Bhavya Nair from Orchid International School, Mumbai.
Yes, ma'am. So, hello everyone. I'm Bhavya. I'm from Kopakini, branch of Orchid, and I'm going to speak about a speech by Martin Luther King. I have a dream. It is a very known speech all around the world, but do you know that it wasn't a speech to be? Yeah, that's true. The thing is that this speech was actually Normalcy Never Again, which was written a day before the speech was to be given, and King was the last person to speak. He was confronted by one of his friends who said that why are you giving a speech written on a piece of paper instead of saying what you actually mean to say? And King was shocked at what does he really mean. The sense that day came out to him that he wants to speak that what he really means. That was the dream he had. He never initiated to speak the I Have a Dream speech, which is all around the world and people know it. He got this speech out from his friends' initiations. The thing was that his speech meant that he wanted each and everyone in the same place. He wanted equality. We all know Negroes have always fought for their rights. Even till date, people are so much differentiating during racism of white and black. Though, after getting the proclamation, they were supposed to be equal, but they didn't get it. Martin Luther King is known for this as a civil leader of civil rights, and he was the one because of whom today the blacks still have a place within the people, or else they were actually treated as slaves. So,
This time, how he actually came to the speech was the main thing, because we all know speeches. But do we actually know what was the history behind the speeches? Yes. The thing is, Martin Luther King has suffered since his childhood. At the age of 18, he heard about Mahatma Gandhi, his association, the time of his death. Since that time, he started researching about Mahatma Gandhi. He wanted to know that why such a wise man, a person who is known so much, was killed. When he came across that what Mahatma Gandhi actually insisted, he insisted non-violence. And that's what King followed. Even in his dream, he said that I have a dream that my 4 kids can study with the whites so that they are judged by the character and not by the color. This was something he said, but after it was followed by a thing which we all should know. It was that I have a dream that there is a followance of non-violence, as said by Mahatma Gandhi, and he took him as his role model. So, do you see that how a big contrast it is? All around the world, people follow each other's role. All the all the speeches are linked, all the inspirations are linked. We get inspiration from one or the other. It's actually not all combined. We have it from different people, from different areas, from different corners of the world. All speeches are united through a soul and one. The thing is, we all want freedom, equality, and a good care of each other. So, with this, I really want to give out few lines said by Martin Luther King and the effects of what he did. So, Martin Luther King led the in 1955 that was sparked by Rosa Parks. Do you know during that time there was a lady who was arrested for no reason just because she was black and she entered a bus, and that too that lady was a pregnant lady. So that was one of the inspirations for Martin Luther King for giving this speech. Every person has an inspiration, and I wish we all get perfect inspirations for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavya. Our next contestant is Sakshi Singh from Orchard International School, Pune.
Yes, ma'am. So, all differences in this world are of degree and not of kind, because oneness is the secret of everything. Moving on with this famous quote, a very good morning to all. My greetings to all respected judges, teachers, and everyone else present here. I'm really grateful to have this opportunity of sharing my inspiration of life on this auspicious day. Myself, Sakshi Sindogi. I am from Orchid, the International School, Nigdi, Pune. And today I'm here to speak about one of our famous respected personality, Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, born Narendranath Datta, was an Indian Hindu monk. He was a chief disciple of the 19th century Indian mystic Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda is best known in the United States for his groundbreaking speech to the 1893 World's Parliament of Religions, in which he introduced Hinduism to America and called for the religious tolerance and an end to fanaticism. So today, I shall brief you about this popular speech given by Swami Vivekananda in Chicago. This speech was delivered on September 11, 1893. It included being patriotic, loving all religions, analyzing religion, being acquainted with science, knowing importance and necessity of rituals, being aware of roots of Hinduism, being aware of the goal of science, being aware of the cause of downfall of India, and being against religious conversations. Swami Vivekananda delivered an iconic and eloquent speech. Introducing Hinduism to the world in 1893,
Swami Vivekananda spoke about intolerance, religion, and the need to end all forms of fanaticism. So, what is fanaticism? Fanaticism is the quality of being fanatical. Fanatical means filled with excessive and single minded zeal. Swami Vivekananda told people to be broad minded and let go the stereotypes of various religions. Such was the effect of the remarkable message that he was given a 2-minute standing ovation. Swami Vivekananda said, I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. Swami Vivekananda should always be remembered for his inspiration to the mankind. Swami, without a doubt, is the greatest source of achievement, pride, and inspiration. He taught us unconditional love, reinforced the importance of giving back, and taught us how to be a better person. Around 125 years ago, Swami Vivekananda gave this remarkable speech, and it is still remembered by all people as it has greatly inspired us. It tells us about humanity and secularism. Finally, I conclude by saying another famous quote by Swami Vivekananda: we are what our thoughts have made us. So take care about what you think. Words are secondary, thoughts live, they travel far. This is all I wanted to convey. I hope you find my speech inspirational and informative. Thank you.
Very interesting and illuminating, both of you, Bhavya and Sakshi. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next. Komal.
Our next participant is Asmi Dinkar, Orchid International School, Bangalore.
The good life is inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Good morning, everyone. I am Asmi Dinkar from Orchestra International, JP Nagar, Bangalore. One of the most valuable gifts any one of us could ever receive is the gift of knowledge and experience. Fortunately, we live in an era where each one of us can easily have access to the experience and knowledge of those people that we admire the most, those who we consider as the greatest achievers, and those who have influenced and still continue to influence us by what they have done or they are still doing in their lives. Sadhguru gives us important life lessons you should never forget to make your experience of life more profound and beautiful. Few important life lessons to never forget are: kill the lies. Just spend a minute to identify at least one thing in your life that is not necessary and kill that today. When I say kill, don't start thinking about your enemy, the person you hate, or your neighbor. You must kill something about you that is unnecessary for your life. Something like, I will kill my anger, would be too general, and this isn't something that you can achieve by determination. This requires consciousness. Decide on something that you can do and that you will do. This is how to transform your life, by taking small steps. Break the status quo. Look at life in terms of what can be changed and do something about it. Crying about things that you can't change is a sure strategy to remain at status quo. At least once a month, consciously look at this and identify one small thing about yourself, that you want to change. Like, every time before I eat, I will spend 10 seconds in gratitude for this food, which is going to become a part of me. Or, I will see to it that I only put on my plate what I can eat. These small things will change your life and set you apart. Remember, you are mortal. You are mortal and it is ticking away. So there is no time for frustration, depression, anxiety, or for any unpleasantness in this life. You need to celebrate and enjoy every moment of your life, because life doesn't wait for you for even a second. If you were immortal, you could enjoy 100 years of depression, anxiety, madness, and misery. And then on the 500th anniversary, you could become joyful. But that isn't the case. You are mortal and it is ticking away. So there isn't time for frustration, depression, anxiety, anger, for any unpleasantness in this life. Choose to live intelligently. Within yourself, is it more pleasant to be loving or to be angry, hateful, and jealous? Which is a more intelligent way to exist? Loving, isn't it? All I am saying is, please live intelligently. This isn't for someone else's sake. It is pleasant and beautiful for you. Creating a loving world isn't a service that you do for someone else. It is a way to exist. You can create a loving world in every single activity that you do in your life. Creating a loving world doesn't mean doing something more or less. If you live your life constantly focused on what you want, it will unquestionably happen in your immediate surroundings, and it will also happen in the larger surroundings. There is intelligence in humility. This is why in the Eastern cultures, always you bow down to whatever you see, whether it is a rock, an animal, or a human being. Being in reverence towards the very earth that you walk upon, towards the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the food that you eat, the people that you come in touch with, and everything else that you use, including your body and mind, is a way of ensuring success in every endeavor that we partake in. There is no good and bad. Everything you see, you think, everything that you will see in your future is right here. If you can see everything the way it is, if it is the whole creation which reflects within you, if you can contain creation the way it is within you, you become the very source of that creation. So finally, the most beautiful moments in life are moments when you are expressing your joy, not when you're seeking it. When pain, misery, or anger, it is time to look within you. The fear is simply because you're not living with life. You are living in your mind. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Asmi. Next up, Angina Ganguly, Orchid International School, Bangalore.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
You're audible, Angina.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem a pledge. Not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. Good afternoon all and a warm welcome to everyone present here. Today, I, Angina Ganguly from grade 8, Orchids, the International School, Jalali, am going to convey my thoughts on one of the most powerful speeches, Tryst with Destiny. The struggle of independence for Indians had been going on for decades. Indians were trying very hard to free themselves from British colonial rule. The British kept the Indian efforts for independence in check by making use of ruthless military force. However, the Second World War knocked the stuffings out of the British, which added to the absolute passionate and determined Indian independent movement. Finally, the country achieved independence after almost 200 years of British colonial rule. It was on the momentous occasion of the midnight of 14th August that 1947 that Jawaharlal Nehru delivered his highly emotional speech to the Indian Constituent Assembly in the Parliament, reflecting on the years of struggle for independence. This speech of him is a testament to time when public oration was a weapon that many politicians and freedom fighters wielded with lethal grace. And it was not only the oratory skill of Pandit Nehru that set this speech apart, but also the nuance and the eloquence with which he delivered this patriotic fervor and passionate struggle of the Indian populace without restoring to jingoism. The hopes and aspiration of a long oppressed people were spoken through a wield of steadfast optimism and cautious pragmatism. This piece of Nehruji is considered to be one of the greatest speeches of the 20th century and to be a landmark oration that captures the essence of the triumphant culmination of the Indian independence struggle against the British Empire in India. With these patriotic words, Jawaharlal Nehru sent India into its first day of independence. These powerful words can make any Indian with emotions and tears. Jai Hind.
Next participant is Krishi Jain, Orchid International School, Mumbai.
Good morning, respected teachers. My name is Krishi Vinay Jain and I am from Orchid International School, Palagili, grade 9B. And today I'd be speaking about the speeches delivered by the great emancipator, Abraham Lincoln, who worked to end the slavery in the United States. Well, I've chosen this personality as the world knows him to break the chains of discrimination on the basis of color. When we talk about Mr. Lincoln delivering speeches, there are many fantabulous ones that changed the world. At this speech at Peoria, Illinois, on 16th October 1854, Lincoln made an argument against the Kansas-Nebraska Act and the repeal of Missouri Compromise. He spoke for 3 hours and offered a relentless assault upon the logic and morality of slavery. If the Negro is a man, why then my ancient faith teaches me that all men are created equal and that there can be no normal moral right in connection with one man's making a slave of another. And another great speech given at New York City on 27 February 1816, Lincoln argued that Congress had the power to prohibit slavery in territories. And the Southerners, not the Northerners, were the ones who, in advocating sessions, had rejected the policies of the founding fathers. He ended with a rousing message to his fellow Republicans. Let us have the faith that right makes might, and in that faith, let us to end dare to do our duty as we understand it. Not only this, but the speech delivered on the side of one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War, the Gettysburg Address, is known by some as the greatest speech in the world, and one of Abraham Lincoln's defining moments. The 273 words delivered by Lincoln at the official dedication ceremony for the National Cemetery called upon the fundamental principles of the Declaration of Independence and Union's ideals, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. The speech's legacy and lasting impact has seen American school children taught to recite the historical phrasings, while subsequent presidents are also said to have used this speech as a map of governance for US. Last but not the least, all these speeches are inspiring, but the best quoted lines were, 7 years ago, our fathers brought on the continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. So according to me, all the speeches given by Abraham Lincoln are absolutely true, even in today's world, because racism not only hides one's individuality, but it also becomes traumatizing. That's all I would say. Thank you.
Very impressive. Thank you, Krishi. Moving on to the next.
Reena Malik, Orchid International School, Thane.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wait 1 second. Yeah. So the other day, I was trying to think of a creative introduction to give. You know, the old "Good morning, everyone." Is this not a proper introduction, is it? So that's why I decided of a clever way. You know, let me think of a clever introduction. A clever way to introduce my name, which is Rehan Malik, my class, which is 8A, and my school, which is Orchid International School, Thane. I tried thinking a lot, but I couldn't find any. So this is why I decided to ask my friend. The thing with friends is you can't really directly ask them questions. You have to kind of ease it in and then go for the punch. So that's what I did. I asked him an introductory question, being like, hey, you know about inspirational speeches, right? And his reply was, inspirational speeches? What are those? I got so angry when I heard this. I was like, what do you mean? Of course, inspirational speeches are speeches that are... And then I stopped. I couldn't answer his question. I thought to myself in my mind, I'm like, speeches that are inspirational? What is this? Such a dumb definition. There must be a better way to describe this. And so I'm here today with my speech. My speech is about my journey, about how I truly understood the meaning of an inspirational speech. To understand this encouragement speech, I decided to ask myself 3 questions. First question being, why are inspirational speeches necessary? Why are they necessary? A 5 minutes of quick Googling later, I found out that inspirational speeches are necessary because they help in proving one's point. Of course, this is true. Not only proving a singular person's mindset, but an entire group's opinion. For example, Jawaharlal Nehru, with his speech, A Tryst with Destiny, he didn't say that he was able to govern India by himself. No. He spoke on the behalf of the entire citizens of India, as in we, as Indian citizens, could govern this country by ourselves. This is what he meant. So yeah, that's the answer to the first question. The second question was, why inspirational speeches? Why not inspirational movies or books or posters for that matter? Why do we need speeches? This is an interesting answer because the answer is trust. In this era of internet and technology, the click of just one button, I can forward my opinion to hundreds of thousands of people to see online. And of course, some of them might be wrong or lies. We don't know that, and that's why we don't trust anyone, especially with these movies and books. Most of them may be fictional. So the moment our brain learns that this movie is fiction, we don't pay attention to it. We're like, oh, this is a fictional movie. Of course, this can't happen in real life, and we don't even try. So yeah, that's the answer to the second question, lack of trust of human beings. The third and final question was, why do famous people give these speeches? Why can't a common person give this? Why can't I go up and give an inspirational speech? The answer is also interesting. It's because exaggeration. Think about it. If a common person comes up to you and is like, I was from a poor family, but now I earn 2 lakhs per month. And a famous actor comes up to you and is like, I was from a poor family, but now I earn 10 crores every month. Of course, both of these people are exceptional. But the actor will be more attractive, wouldn't he? Because he earns 10 crores a month. That's a lot. And why is it attractive? Because exaggeration. That's why celebrities are a lot powerful, because they hold the ability to exaggerate. For example, Shah Rukh Khan, he could say he earns 10 crores every month or 20 crores every month. Who knows? Both of them seem equally likely. And that's why they're very inspirational celebrities. So yeah, after learning the answers to these 3 questions, I finally understood the meaning of an inspirational speech. An inspirational speech is a tool that can be used to motivate and empower people. I hope that you have learned something, not only about just speeches, but also about human nature as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next participant is Arnav Surya Rao, Orchid International School, Thane.
Yes, ma'am. Greetings to one and all present over here. I am Arnav Surya Rao from Orchids International, wishing you all a very happy Gandhi Jayanti. Today, I would like to begin talking about how some famous personalities influence the lives of people, as well as help in shape our minds and the society. Women have played a vital role in bringing our world where it stands today, even though haven't been given equal opportunities for the same. After a lot of struggle by giving a tough fight to orthodox thinkers, women have been able to receive the rightful recognition that they deserve. One such influencer and warrior is none other than Savitri Bai Phule. Savitri Bai was born on 3rd January 1831 in Nagaon. She was the eldest daughter of Mother Lakshmi and Father Khandoji Patil. She got married at a tender age of 10 to Jyotiba Phule, who was just 3 years elder to her. Post her marriage, Jyotiba did not let her fall into conventional duties of a housewife, rather taught her and trained her to become a teacher at their home, as there was no institution that provided education for women at that time. Her further education was looked after by Jyotiba's friends. After completing her higher studies, Savitri Bai became India's first certified female teacher. Later, the pair opened a school in Nagaon, but had to face a lot of difficulties, as initially 13 to 15 girls would go to the school. Later, she opened a school in Pune, but had to suffer a lot again, as it was a major change that people were not ready to get accustomed to. Whenever Savitri used to go to her school, there used to be men waiting for her to arrive, and used to pass lewd comments and throw rocks, muds, and cow dung at her. And hence, Savitri Bai used to carry an extra sari. She used to say, as I do this sacred task of teaching my fellow sisters, the stones or the cow dung you throw at me seem like flowers. May God bless you. Due to the outrage at the work of Savitri Bai and Jyotiba, they were thrown out of their house by their father-in-law. The pair was on the verge of opening a new school for adults of the backward class, but had no place to establish their school on. So they got a helping hand from Fatima Sheikh and her sister. Even Fatima, along with Savitri Bai, started teaching other students. The British government printed an article about the girls' school in a very negative light. In spite of that, she continued teaching and stood her ground. That brought a drastic change in the growth of students to 130 to 150 in number in comparison to the initial number. Jyotiba stood with Savitri Bai like a strong pillar the entire time. They even fought against the unjust caste system. They also made an organization for women's rights called Mahila Seva Mandal in 1852 and organized a successful barber strike to protest the practice of shaving widows' heads. They even started an infanticide prohibition home in 1863. After the sad demises of Jyotiba Phule, Savitri Bai took over the social organization called Satya Shodhak Samaj. Other than that, she wrote many poems which mainly focused on education and its importance. Today, we can see women pursuing as well as excelling in every field they step into. Education plays a vital role in this. Therefore, we must make sure children in the entire world, including the remotest of the places, receive quality education. During this tough time of pandemic, we have started learning through online classes, although not every student has access and privilege to do so. I think it is necessary for us that the required resources reach all the students. And I would like to work, and I genuinely feel passionate about it. I may start small, but I will keep moving forward as long as I can. I would like to conclude by thanking Savitri Bai for a vital contribution in carving a strong path for women and inspiring us all to fight for the betterment of this world. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.
Next participant. Okay. Next participant, Kavya Jha, Orchid International School, Thane.
Kavya Jha. Do we have Kavya Jha with us? Kavya? Shall we move on to the next?
Kavya Jha is not here.
Okay, Komal. We can move on to the next then.
Next, Anushka Sinha.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anushka Sinha and I'm from Orchids International School, Malad. In these times of negativity, we need all the positivity that we can get to keep our hopes alive. We all have great powers and talents hidden within ourselves. We just need a trigger to expose and prove ourselves to the outer world. This message by a powerful orator of our time, Mr. Jeremy Anderson, in his speech, COVID versus Humanity, is most relevant in today's situation, while we are facing the greatest challenge to humankind in the recent history. This pandemic is affecting all of us without differentiating between caste, creed, religion, or nation. It doesn't differentiate between the rich and the poor or celebrities and the normal people. It has spread negativity all around us, and people are starting to feel helpless. However, a few of us have taken these challenges positively and have broken all barriers of negativity. They are not complaining about the hardships faced by them. They are working relentlessly to make the situation better for people around them. Think about the doctors and the medical staffs who are working day in and day out for more than 15 to 18 hours without taking rest in order to take care of the patients who need them most at this point of time. They have been doing a great job in normal conditions also, but this situation has brought their greatness out to the entire world. They are also facing this kind of situation for the first time, but they are not complaining about it. They're doing their best and aren't hesitant in helping the needy, despite facing the highest risk of infection. Think about our teachers and educational staff. They have been amazing. They have been great and have been inspirational role models for us. In this difficult situation also, they are doing an exceptionally great job. Now the question is, had they faced this kind of situation earlier? No. Were they trained in taking online classes? No. Were they given online assessments for checking in online books? No. This situation has given them opportunity to learn new skills and enhance their capabilities. They accepted the challenge and have come neck to neck with the tech-savvy new generation kids. Isn't this an achievement for our teachers and a positive contribution of the COVID-19 pandemic? It most certainly is. Think about the kids and the elderly family members who are locked at home and aren't allowed to go out and meet people. They are facing this challenge and learning to live within boundaries. I believe that hard times show us what we really made of and what our real capabilities are. I have a message for those people who are devastated, feeling restless, and are losing hope. Don't lose hope. We are all in the same boat. We must stay together and stay strong. May we be united in our hope, love, and service to one another, because it is going to take all of us together to fight this battle. United we stand, divided we fall. History has proven that when we have fought the toughest challenges with togetherness and unity, we have bounced back. We have fought and bounced back after the Black Plague. We have faced the Great Depression. We have bounced back after the Holocaust and bounced back after yellow fever. This is not the first time that the humankind has faced such a situation. We have to take cue from history and fight together to win this battle and come back stronger, bolder, and better. Today is the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, who is a great source of inspiration and positivity for most of us even today. He had rightly said, "A man is a product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes." So be positive. Don't let the negativity around take over your mind and your soul. Try to find the hidden talent in you and use it as your strength. Always remember, every cloud has a silver lining. This time will pass too. There will once again be days where we will attend our school classes, days when the malls will be filled with cheer and we will be back in restaurants laughing, and no barrier will keep us apart. With this positive thought, I close my speech. Thank you.
Next participant, Sambhavi, Orchid International School, Mumbai.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, Sambhavi.
Okay. First, I would like to wish you a very happy Gandhi Jayanti and also Lal Bahadur Shastri Jayanti to one and all. I am Shambhavi of grade 9 and today I'm going to talk about a speech of Malala Yousafzai on education. I was really impressed by the soft but firm voice of the 5'2" towering personality, full of conviction and determination to achieve the goal. To be very candid, I was, till I heard her, totally obvious to the pathetic predicament 66 million children all over the globe are reeling through. We all talk about education as one of the basic needs of existence, don't we? And I was shocked to learn that this is not made available to multitudes. Rather we are fortunate that this gift is made available to us. And I am not deprived of it on the grounds of being either a girl or belonging to a particular community. The fact that inspired me the most was when she showed her strength of character and integrity when she said that when she had to choose between two options, one, to keep quiet and wait to be killed, or two, to speak up and then be killed, she chose the second option. Truly, such people who speak up not for their personal gain, but for a universal cause are a very rare breed. And I salute her Samaritan and knightly endeavors. She is a pioneer in making education available to those poor children who are deprived of being enlightened by education. So I really salute such people who work towards a global cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Sambhavi. Our next participant is N. Harika from Orchid International School, Hyderabad.
Fantastic performances coming along, children. We are almost coming to the close of the event. Shall we move on, Komal?
Do we have her here?
I don't think so.
No, we don't.
Shambhavi? Sorry, N. Harika. N. Harika, no.
We don't have her.
We move on to the next.
Kahan from Orchid International School, BTN.
Meera miss, before they leave, we would want a group photograph, please.
Shall we do it now, miss?
We
We
do it
just
now.
have about three
Yes,
participants left.
Yes. So
So,
everybody, yes, request everyone to switch on their videos for a group photograph.
Could everyone please switch on their cameras for a bit?
Can the shared content be stopped for some time?
Priyesh, can you stop sharing?
Yes, can we have everyone?
Yeah, Priyesh, can you
So,
stop?
yes.
Ma'am, you're muted.
Ma'am, we cannot on video.
We cannot, Preeti ma'am, we cannot switch on our video because host has to do it.
Yeah,
Okay, the host will do it. The host will do so. The host will do. Komal? Puja miss, we need to capture everyone.
Yes.
Puja? We want everyone to be captured.
Yeah, you all can
Please
open.
switch. Please
Ma'am
switch
has
on your cameras.
enabled.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, keep on your, yes.
We have given the
Please put on the cameras from your end as well.
Please, yes.
yeah, go
Participants.
Please disable that, yes.
videos. Sahiti, please switch on your video, beta.
Ma'am, I'm still getting the same message. The host has to switch it on.
Ma'am, we have given the instructions. We are not.
I'm still getting the same instruction. I'm trying.
The others, can you
You
please
cannot
switch it on?
start your video because the host has disabled it.
Wait, I'm just.
Bhavya,
now it's
Dhruv,
done.
Chirayu, Torsa, could
Thank
we
you.
please have your cameras on?
Obvious, Sambhavi, can we
Rashmi, Soumya.
cameras on, please?
We'd like to capture our brilliant participants. Yes? Each
I've
one of you.
asked you guys to start your video.
Host cannot disable.
Has everybody been captured, Puja miss?
Did you get the dialog box for starting your video?
Screenshot taken, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Ma'am, we cannot start video.
Beta, we have given the instructions. We have done everything from our end.
We can have another one when the judges are addressing the students.
Komal, how many participants? Last two
Shall we continue? Yes. I think we have three more. Three more to go. Right, Komal?
Yes. Kahan, BTM.
Ma'am, it's Kehlan. It's not Kahan. By mistake, there must be a spelling error, ma'am.
Sorry for pronouncing.
Good morning, respected teachers and dear friends. Today, I, Kehlan Ghosh from Orchids BTM, am honored to have this opportunity to share a few thoughts about a man who came from humble beginnings, yet became a legend by rising to the commendable position of heading the Indian nation entirely on the strength of his hard work and dedication. I am referring to none other than the great Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Today, I will tell you about some of his greatest speeches that will benefit today's generation. Dr. Kalam's three-step guides to achieve goals are finding an aim in life before we are 20 years old, and to acquire knowledge and to continuously reach our goal, and to work hard and persevere so that we can defeat all the problems and succeed. His life itself is a great example of this. He was born in a middle-class Muslim family, and therefore he had to face lot of difficulties. However, because of his determination, he finally tasted success. He played a leading role in the development of India's missile and nuclear weapons programs. He collaborated with many famous organizations. ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, and DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, are some of them. He also served as the President of India from 2002 to 2007. His love for students and education manifested both in life and death. While delivering a speech in the Institute of Management, Shillong, he suffered a cardiac arrest and collapsed. He left us, making 27th July 2050 one of the saddest days in the rich history of India. To conclude, I would like to say that even though he is no more in this world, his fire is still alive in our hearts. His golden words and miraculous deeds will always be remembered. I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Have a great day ahead.
Fantastic, Helen. Moving on to the next.
Our next participant is Paridhi from Orchid International School. Sarajpur. Is Paridhi there?
Paradhi? No, I think we'll move on to the next, the last participant, I think, Arjun.
We're done.
Arjun from?
No, he's
I
not.
think he was waiting.
From Orchid International.
Orchid International?
He's not in the meeting, neither is he in the waiting room.
Okay. So shall we go ahead then? I think we've come to the end of the session, and what an absolute treat.
Ma'am.
What an absolute treat. Yes. Yes.
Ma'am,
Is that
I'm
Arjun?
left. No, ma'am, I'm Shujan Sayed. I'm left, ma'am.
Okay. Shujan Sayed.
Sujan, you may take your chance right now.
Okay. Just a sec.
Okay, so we have Shujan Sayed from?
Ma'am, Orchids, the International School, Nigri, Pune.
Orchid International. Okay. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shujan from Orchids, the International School. And today, I would like to talk on the speech which was given by Mahatma Gandhi or before starting the Quit India movement. In that speech, he mentioned that the most powerful weapon which is given to us is ahimsa. Ahimsa is the most powerful weapon which is given by us, which is given to us by God, which is the best weapon of all, because without any violence we can sort out matters. Anything which can be solved by ahimsa should be done. We should always prefer ahimsa because it is the best thing in the world to prefer. In that speech, he also mentioned that many people asked him that was he the same person who was there in India during the 1920, and he answered, yes, I am the same person, but the only thing which has changed is we are going to fight to the British using ahimsa, not violence. And he even said that, let me, however, hasten to assure that I am the same Gandhi as I was in 1920. I have not changed in any financial respect. I attach the same importance to non-violence that I did then. If at all, my emphasis on his on it has grown stronger. There is no real contradiction between the present resolution and many precious returns and utterance. He he gave willpower to the people and said that the only way we are going to go ahead is using ahimsa because it is the greatest gift. Ahimsa is the best gift, and further ado, we should use ahimsa, not hinsa. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujan. So with that, all our participants have spoken, and I would like to ask.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, do we still have somebody left?
Ma'am, I am left, ma'am. Samyukta.
Samyukta?
Yes, ma'am.
Which school, my dear?
Orchids International School, ma'am. Sahakan Nagar.
Okay.
If there is anybody else who is yet to speak, please send us your name and school in the chat box.
Komal, they need to join the WhatsApp link which I'm sharing in the chat box.
Okay.
I'm just sharing in the chat.
So up next we have Samyukta. Samyukta, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to one and all present here. I am Samyukta from Sahakanagar, Surrey. Today I'm going to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The time is always right to do what is right. A riot is the language of the unheard. Our lives begin to end the day we begin silent about things that matter. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an American pastor, architect, and prominent leader of the African American civil rights movement. He is also called Gandhi of America. His efforts progress in the field of civil rights in America. That is why they are also seen as a symbol of human rights. Martin Luther King was born on 15 January 1929 in Atlanta, America, into an aristocratic Negro family. His father was an iron merchant. Martin, the eldest of 7 brothers, gave good religion rights by his parents. After completing elementary education at the local level, he went on to study religion and life at the school in Mendelberg, where he studied the Bible deeply. At the age of 15, he received a bachelor's degree in sociology. Martin Luther King Jr. launched a nonviolent movement against discrimination against the Negro community. The year 1955 was the turning point of his life. The year she married Coretta Scott and preached at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in the city of Montgomery, state of Alabama, South. In March 1963, a great march in Washington, D.C., led by Martin Luther King Jr., was deliberated against civil rights legislation and demanded a ban on racial discrimination. After this incident, he started the famous bus movement. After this 381 days Satyagraha movement, the provision of separate seats for black and white passengers in American bus were abolished. Later, with the help of religious leaders, the Uniform Civil Law movement spread to the northern part of America. He was awarded the 1964 Nobel Prize for World Peace. By the age of 35, he was imprisoned 17 times and protested against revolutionary nonviolent movements. Many financial penalties were imposed for him. Even his wife, Coretta Scott King, and children suffered a lot. At the birth of 4 children, someone threw a bomb at their house. Sometimes a Negro woman was instigated and stabbed Martin with a knife. In 1961, he was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment, but was released 3 days later for fear of unrest. Martin announced hours before his death that the Negro would gain an honorable place of the coming years, not only in America but around the world on the strength of his work and ability. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have any more participants left to speak, do we? I'll take
I
the
don't think
silence
so.
as a no.
Yes. I think fantastic, very engaging performances today that we've had in this room. Brilliant participants. Okay, Komal.
So, Meera miss, we can invite the judges. Let's hear them. And
Yes, ma'am.
we can
Komal
have
is doing that.
everyone's, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I will now call upon the judges to share their views about the competition and speeches. Hetal ma'am, would you like to start?
Can we request Miss
Everyone's
Hetal
videos on also.
Yes.
to share her views with us about the performances today?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon, ma'am.
Good
afternoon. Good
afternoon, ma'am.
afternoon. I want to congratulate each and every speaker who participated today. And it was extremely enlightening to sit through the delivery of the well-informed students who chose diverse personalities to think through their ideas and ideals and visions. Uh, and they did include a lot of illuminaries of yesteryears and current era. Some of them had picked up some unknown names did come up. So amid this pandemic time, these proactive students did come forward to participate in this competition. A big leap taken by Billabong High International School and our principal for gearing up the entire team to make this possible and to make this happen on the virtual platform. And of course, what better time and day than to commemorate the birth anniversary of the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. When it comes to the performance of the students, yes, every student had put in the required effort to make a mark for themselves and their participation. But one word of advice that I would like to give to all the participants is that before coming in for such competitions, one needs to go through the format and the rules, right? What came across was that all of you, most of you went in for declamation when the competition said elocution. So first we need to understand the difference between elocution and competition and declamation. Declamation is how effectively you absorb the speech given by a famous personality, then with that feel, you deliver it, right? That is called declamation. But when it comes to elocution, children, elocution is how well you have understood the thoughts of the speaker, how much you have reflected, and therefore you are then ready to speak on that particular speech. So you are basically putting across your understanding of the famous personality, his ideals, and his vision. That is elocution. Thirdly, elocution is all about public speaking. So we have to be extremely mindful of the way we deliver the speech, the way we speak, right? So, of course, every participation, every opportunity given to you, it should be a learning experience. And I would want each one of you who had been actively listening to the other participants perform and participate, that you must have learned a lot. It indeed was a learning experience, but I also want to commend the ones who had actually followed the format and absorbed the idea behind this, behind this competition. And they were extremely impactful, though a handful, but I want to commend that, yes, they were very impactful and they had prepared well. So a big round of applause for all the participants all together and the organizers, the team which has worked hard for past, especially for 1 week, everyone was there up, there to ensure that, we have a smooth transaction of this entire event. Thank you, Preeti ma'am, for organizing this event and gearing up the team and motivating each one of us to be there and to make it possible. And I also want to thank all the principals who ensured that across India, they made it possible, to come on this virtual platform and to make it possible and to motivate their students to participate in this event. Thank you once again.
And I think, Hetal, the presence of so many students on
Exactly, Miss. Exactly, Miss.
a very special day as 2nd October has made the entire event so much more magical and beautiful.
Ma'am, especially more meaningful is what I would like to say.
Absolutely. Very,
Very
very
extremely
meaningful.
meaningful. For the intent was, yes, how do we make it meaningful for the students? No better way than to help them connect with these luminaries.
Absolutely.
And yes, and to maybe take something out of their ideals and the vision that make them
I can
great.
see I can see positivity, I can see hope, and I can see the nation in very, very good, responsible and mindful hands.
Yes,
So,
to go back and to look back.
yes.
Yes,
Yes, Meera, miss.
it requires effort. So thank you once again, Miss. Thank you.
Okay,
I
Komal.
would like to invite our principal, ma'am, Dr. Preeti Shrimal, to share
Can we have
Miss
Janki miss?
Janki also? Yes.
Can we have Janki miss?
Our second judge, Miss Janki, could we hear your views on the performances today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, it's so reassuring to hear all these young students, because it seems as if we can relax, we can, enjoy, because our nation is definitely in good and safe hands. If these children have taken so much trouble to, learn the speeches, and it is definitely motivating to others, and even the people who have read all these speeches, some were really very interesting. And thanks a lot to Billabong to organize such an event. Not easy, because see, we are not in a classroom or a school situation where we can meet with each other and coordinate very easily. For everything we have to rely on online classes, and all the technical gadgets that we have. So it's definitely very difficult, but kudos to the team. Then the next thing is, sometimes what happens is, when the topic was speeches of famous personalities, we don't want you to deviate you into a bio sketch. It is not a bio sketch that you are doing. You are actually saying that what influenced you, what inspired you from a particular person's speech. So some of you had gone into that zone, and one of them was very interesting, because he actually had dwelt deeper into the fact that why not movies, why not why just speeches, and why just one speech. So he had given a lot of thought to it, but I would have been happier if he had left that thought process and come to an actual speech. So there are so many things that make a good a speech elocution. Another thing is smile. That's very important. At least when you are speaking, have that smile. Of course, we are not together physically. It's a little difficult, to stare and smile into a laptop, but still, communicate. And another thing is, you be kind to your listeners. Be a little slow, be kind to your listeners, so that they are able to grasp what you are trying to say. So whenever you are speaking, you're not speaking for yourself. You're speaking for others to listen and to understand. And yes, all of you spoke very well, but one or two were really outstanding. And my congratulations to those people who really participated. And though it is a cliche to say this, participation is important. Yes, but it is true. It is important. At this level, at this age, to be able to participate is very, very good. And you need to continue to do that, irrespective of the result. Thank you very much, Preeti ma'am, for calling me to be a judge. And it was really an enjoyable day and experience.
Thank you, ma'am.
Janki and Miss Hetal, I'm sure this was very enlightening for all the participants. They're going to reflect on their own performances after what you have shared, and even out the edges wherever required. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all the participants. Thank you to all the principals for actually responding to our request. And because I know we didn't give them much time. The students also, some of them I think were informed just a day in advance. So that is it's very heartening to see how, eager and keen they were and how enthusiastic the students were to participate. In fact, I just got a message from one of the the Orchid School principals, one of the branches, that one girl had fallen sick. So could someone else has now decided to, of course, take part, or to represent the school. Of course, the competition is over, but what is very encouraging is to see that yes, the students are waiting to speak out and to express their views and to be given a platform. So I think the virtual scenario has proved to be an opportunity for us and for all the students here. And I want to see a smile on everyone's face. Yes, all of you were really great. And it was wonderful to hear you. An afternoon very well spent. And I think Meera Miss will agree, Pooja Miss and Geetu will all agree that yes, we were a little, we didn't know how we would be able to manage with the numbers coming in, but the children very seamlessly adapted and moved on to the second room. So I'm sure if there were any glitches, the team, we would like to, we have overcome all that. And great job, Komal and your team. Ivan, Komal, great job done. And once again, I extend my gratitude to all the principals who sent their students, and of course to all the lovely students for taking part. Yes, Meera Miss, are we ready for another group photograph? Pooja Miss?
Yes, and I think Miss Pooja will deliver the vote of thanks also.
Yeah.
Right, Komal? Am I on the right track?
Yes. Yeah. So, I, Dr. Pooja Dikshit Joshi, on the behalf of Billabong High International School, Vadodara, and the entire fraternity of the institution, first of all, extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding success. With His blessings and grace, we are able to make this event possible. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude. I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our judges, Ms. Hetal Thakkar and Mrs. Janki Radhakrishnan, who has paid out time for their busy schedule to grace the occasion. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. A special mention to our respected principal, Dr. Shriti Shimal, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best and standing as a pillar of strength. Thanks for being always there, ma'am, from initiation to conclusion of the program. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our loving teachers for their untiring efforts. And thanks to all the esteemed guests, including principals, teachers, and parents of other schools for their valuable time and presence. I would like to thank our budding rock star, our participants, who had made this event a meaningful with their impressive performance. Your day of hard work were evident in your act. You all were excellent students, and your words had made a great impact on all the audience. An event, a special mention to our students, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for detail. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very proactive and dedicated student team. Our school students are not only good at academics, but also in extracurricular activities, and that they have proved us. We value you and every moment that you stay in the temple of learning. I'm short of words for their involvement and their willingness to take on this completion of the task beyond their comfort zone. Now, I would like to conclude the vote of thanks with the famous quote of Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what you do today. So, dear students, with this thought in your mind, in a gentle way, you all can shake the world and bring out the change in the society. So get up, show the word, and nothing is impossible for a willing heart. Thank you so much, everyone, for being there and for making this program a success.
Thank you so much. We've taken the photographs. Pooja Miss, Meera Miss.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes.
I hope.
So we wind up with this.
We can inform them about the 3 other events pending.
Yeah, ma'am. We need to inform something about the quiz. So we will be sharing the link on through WhatsApp and the mail. Okay. We have created the WhatsApp group. On that you will get the information, the timing, everything will be given to you by the evening. Okay. So you need to join it, the ID given to you. Hope everything is clear to all. Yeah.
Yes.
For the quiz, those who have participated in the quiz competition, this instruction is for them if they are here.
And the winners will be announced in the closing ceremony.
Pooja Miss, may I exit, Pooja Miss?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope I was some help for to you.
You were a huge help, Miss Hetal. So we will announce all the winners on the 10th of October, and of course, mails would be sent to their respective schools. So 10th is I think somebody wanted to know about the
closing ceremony. 10th of October is the closing ceremony.
And we'll also have an exciting chit chat with the RJs. So we'll invite RJ, and we'll have an interactive session with the RJs also.
If you want to be an audience tomorrow, you all can be the audience for the online quizzes. Okay?
So, ma'am, we may leave.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well done, everyone. Each one was a winner. We are very, very thankful that
All students spoke very well. Really
Yes, Geetu Miss. Yes.
Please start your video so that I can finally take one last photograph. Please, it's a request to everyone.
Especially our team of students who have organized this entire event and executed it so flawlessly. Komal, Saiti, all of you. Ivan, Priyesh.
And
Komal, please switch on.
I'm sure every student here is a leader in their own way. Great job.
Mama, I'm taking a couple of pictures. I'll switch it on after.
Okay.
Just a minute.
You should be there with us.
Can somebody just stop asking me to start my video? Okay, thank you.
Komal, nobody's asking. Take your time. But the event is coming to an end, so we can't have more.
Okay, I think we've taken photographs. Yes.
One more.
The memories which will be cherished. Yes.
Yeah. Hope you all have enjoyed a lot with this first virtual inter-school competition. And you can give your feedback. We will be sharing the feedback link with all of you.
Thank you, students. It was a pleasure hearing each one. Great job. Very well done, students.
Thank you, students.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
All the best, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Thank
you.
Meera ma'am, can we end the meeting?
Yes. Shall we? I think Geetu ma'am will have to do it.
Yeah.
I am not the host.
Yeah, I'm the host. I'm also the host. So can we end?
So you can end it. You can end it.
Okay. Thank you, Meera ma'am. Thank you.
Good day. Good day.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, ma'am. Have a nice day.